Right, in the last few days, these broad beans have just grown really, really tall, and the pods have just grown enormous. I'm going to have to pick them before they get too mature. I quite like them when they're a little bit younger and a little bit more tender. So, here we go. I'm going to pick some. And oh my goodness. These are not the variety I thought I planted. I thought I planted a crimson flowered variety, but these had white blossoms. There's one, as you can see there. But the pods are extra long, so I wonder if there is a variety that grows particularly long pods with lots of beans in it. And no way am I complaining that I've grown the wrong variety. I'm very happy with the crop and they taste delicious, but I do really like the bonus of the crimson flowers, which were really fragrant when I planted them last year. Anyway, I shall get on with this and come back when I'm finished. Right, so this is what I've picked so far. I've run out of room in this basket. There's quite a lot here. I also asked my Facebook goat group if the plants were safe to give to the goats after I've picked the beans. So they say it is safe. I'm just taking a few. I'm going to take you with me and offer them to the goats and see if they actually like them. If they do, then great. I won't compost the plants. I shall just feed them to the goats. Right, let's go have a look and see what's happening on the field with the goats. Here we go. The field is really lush and full of tall grass and wildflowers and all sorts at the moment. So they've got plenty that they enjoy eating, but it's always a good idea to offer them other things as well. Particularly Mabel, who is giving us loads of milk at the moment and feeding her babies. But she is a dairy goat, so they're kind of bred to produce quite a lot of milk. We're doing a thing called milk sharing, where we separate Mabel from the babies at night and I milk her first thing in the morning. Oh look, she's escaped from the pen. Come on, Mabel! Mabel! Oh, look! Would you like some of this? Hello? I think she likes these. Let's get her into the pen. Come on! Come on, babies. You too. Right, that was an easy save. Right, let's offer these to Rosie and Alice, who are in the next field. Would you like these? I think we can safely say goats enjoy broad bean plants. So I'll be saving those and not composting them. Well done, you two. Anyway, as I was saying, we milk Mabel in the morning, and that's the only milk we take. We don't take any in the evening, and the babies have free access to her throughout the day. They're 6.5 weeks old. They're growing really well. Mabel seems happy. Here she is nibbling the hazelnut trees, which is fine. She can't strip the bark off them or anything. Hello, Tom. Hello, Geraldine. Right, I'll leave them to it. Okay, I'll give you a quick tour of the rest of what's growing in the polytunnel. Here's the parsley, well and truly in seed. Some in flowers, some in actual seed now developing. And at some stage I'll harvest these and save them. I've got 4 little cherry tomatoes here in this polytunnel. I've got another polytunnel further down the other side of the vegetable plot, and they've got the tall cordon trained plants. But here I've got some cherry tomatoes. I'm not sure what variety they are. A friend gave me the plants. She said they were self-seeded. And I've grown a little bit of lettuce in between as a catch crop, or whatever you call it, intercrop. There we go, it's a red variety. The dill has grown very tall and beautiful, and I'm going to save seeds from that. I have been using the fronds and leaves. I absolutely adore dill. The asparagus plants are growing nicely with some self-seeded cilantro or coriander next to it. And I've got some purple cauliflower plants growing really, really well in here now that the weather is settled. I've got a beer trap here to catch some slugs, but I haven't caught anything yet. I'll have another one further down. There was some sign of slug damage on some of the plants, but they must be teetotal slugs is all I can say, because they've not touched the beer. Or maybe they're very discerning slugs, because this was really cheap generic brand beer from Sainsbury's that was like the cheapest you could get, so maybe they just don't like it. Perhaps they need something a bit more posh. I don't know. Don't think I can be asked spending more money on the slugs, to be honest. Okay, I think this is a Calabrese plant, and that is a Brussels sprout plant, but we shall find out later on in the season. That's a Brussels sprout, I'm pretty sure. The dwarf French beans are doing really, really well. Here we go. I think in another day or two I'll be able to pick my first crop. They just grew superbly in here. I think I'm always going to do some dwarf French beans in the polytunnel. They really just seem to like it. Now, the Charlotte potatoes, which got frosted early in May, see there's some damage from the frost, are actually doing quite well, and I've been harvesting some. They've made a good comeback. And as you can see, we've dug up some of the plants and we've had several meals of new potatoes. They're really good in here. I always wondered whether it would be worth growing potatoes in a polytunnel, but I can genuinely say I think it is. Because we got our first lot in the 3rd week of May. So yeah, definitely a bonus. Now my pride and joy. The Dakota Black popcorn has just rocketed up. I would say each plant now is 3 foot high at least. Some of them slightly taller. They're really enjoying the microclimate in here. Really good, really good. Very pleased with those. I hope we get a good crop this year. I've never grown popcorn in the UK, so fingers crossed. But I will be keeping an eye out for things like mice, because I'm sure they could cause a bit of damage to the cobs. But we have got a very good barn cat who catches mice around the property. So I'll bring him in here if there's trouble. The asparagus plants are doing really well. These were little tiny plug plants that I planted in September last year. A couple of them are taller, older plants, and we've picked a few spears. Further along, we've got celery, 2 rows of celery, intercropped with some red lettuce. Now, both like a lot of water, but the lettuce will be cropped much sooner than the celery, so they're not really going to compete too much for resources. And if so, not for very long anyway. Right, and next to the celery is celeriac, 2 rows of celeriac, which are also doing well, and they like a lot of water as well, so I've been watering them every day. And again with some lettuce plants grown in between. I love celeriac. I've grown it once before. I'm hoping they'll do well in here. Carrots are doing well. They're getting really quite tall. Probably need to thin some out, but I want to thin them out when I can actually use them rather than thin them out and throw them away. Ooh, a bit of grass there growing. But they are looking quite healthy. They are a carrot root fly resistant variety, and I'm hoping that plus the fact that they're growing in the polytunnel will protect them. Now, further along are the onions, the onion bed. I've got red onions and I've got yellow onions, and they're doing fine. Nothing is bolted as far as I can tell. I am watering them regularly because it gets so hot in here and you do have to ventilate, otherwise they really could dry out and go to seed, and then the crop would be ruined pretty much. And a very magnificent self-seeded calendula. So what are you doing up there?
Is she up on the gate still?
Yeah, she's still up on it.
Yeah, that's what she was doing before. Oh, she's moved now. Oh.